do you lean in one direction or the other, like towards some kind of religious explanation being the best way to make sense of the world, or not? Like, which do you lean more towards, if any?
I'm also leaning more towards the science side.
What would you say you lean maybe more towards religion explaining the world more so than just science explaining the world now, or what do you think?
Yeah, I'd say I'm a little more leaned into it now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so turn the dial a little bit. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool, man. The sign says, does science disprove religion? And you were talking with me just a little bit before we started the recording here, and it sounded like you were kind of somewhere in the middle. Maybe you can explain that a little bit more for our viewers here.
Yeah, so my opinion on it was really just because I like how the Earth is a perfect distance away from the sun to where it's not too hot or cold, which makes me think like there has to be someone behind that to more be on the religious side. But then you think about all the science and theories that are there to prove that the science did it, kind of. I just wanted to hear your opinion on that.
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, the Earth seems to be in the Goldilocks zone, right?
Yeah.
Not too hot, not too cold. And it's part of what makes it possible for life to exist here. For you personally, though, if you had to lean, do you lean in one direction or the other, like towards some kind of religious explanation being the best way to make sense of the world, or not? Like, which do you lean more towards, if any?
I'm also leaning more towards the science side because, whenever I think about, like, when people say it's always God's plan, what comes to me are, like, disabilities and, like, the way some people's lives get ended early, and then you think that was really God's plan.
Yeah.
So that's where it kind of like, but of course, everything that can't be perfect either.
Okay. So you kind of lean more towards religion not being true.
Yeah.
And there not being a God because there's so much suffering in the world, like people who have disabilities and things like that. Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, it's definitely understandable. What's the best reason you think for believing in some kind of God? Like the best reason you've heard, at least.
The best, I'd say, well, yeah, the one where I was talking about earlier, how everything's too, like, perfect in some ways. Like, the way nature is, like, you think about all these different, like, ratios. Like, people bring up the golden ratio every now and then. That's been, like, debunked a bit.
Okay.
But as I was talking about, like, with the Earth and the Sun, there's just, like, and then the Big Bang Theory, like, how everything just popped up, kind of leads me towards there's a God.
Okay.
Anyway,
yeah.
And I don't know.
There seems too much suffering.
Yeah, there's too much of the other side to where I'm, like, in the middle.
Yeah. Well, what you're pointing to, you're pointing to things in the universe or in nature that seem really fine-tuned, right, for life to exist, and that is definitely suggestive, at least, of some kind of intelligence that that's set the parameters to be perfect for all of this, right, to happen. And that can be a pretty strong argument for God. There's actually one that might be even simpler, though, and it begins when you just ask the question, why does anything exist at all?
Yeah.
Right? Rather than nothing. Have you ever wondered personally, like, why there's a universe at all? Why does any of this exist?
Not really.
Yeah? It hasn't popped in your head before?
No,
okay. Well, it's in your head now, right? Why does any of this exist at all, right? I mean, it seems logically possible for there to have been no universe, right?
Yeah.
And once we realize that, I mean, I think it's fair to say, and you can tell me if you disagree, I think there's always an explanation for something's existence. We might not know what it is, but there's always an explanation out there, right? There's an explanation for the universe's existence. And by explanation, I don't necessarily mean purpose. Maybe there's no purpose for it. But, just like the dirt clod in your shoe, maybe there's no purpose for the dirt clod's existence in your shoe, but there's an explanation for its existence, right? And would you at least agree that there's always an explanation? If something exists, there's always an explanation why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say so.
I think that's fair to say. So the same's true of the universe. And when we try to explain something's existence, we really only have two ways we can do it. We can say it's caused by something else, or maybe we could say it's impossible for it not to exist, like by its very nature. Those are the two ways we could explain something's existence. But that second option, of those two options on the table, that second option doesn't work for the universe because it seems like the universe could have not existed, right? That seems logically possible. It's not the kind of thing that's non-existence is logically impossible, right? So that means that the universe has a cause of its existence, right? That's the way we would explain the universe's existence. Are you following me? Does that make sense? Or Is there a part of that that seems unclear, or maybe that you disagree with personally?
Sort of. That you're just saying like there's a reason for like the universe to exist, right?
Yeah, there's an explanation.
Like that it can't not have a reason.
Yeah, there's an explanation for its existence, right? And we can explain its existence by saying something else caused it. Or perhaps we could explain its existence by saying it couldn't not exist by its very nature. But that doesn't seem to be the case with the universe. It seems like it could not exist, right?
Yeah.
So that means that the explanation for its existence is that it has a cause, right? And the amazing thing is, when we just think about what the universe is, that it's all of space-time reality, including all matter, including all energy, that means that whatever causes the universe to exist must itself transcend space. It must transcend time. It can't be made of matter because it's what causes all of those things to exist, right? That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And obviously it must be very powerful, relative to you and me. I mean, I don't have the power to cause the universe to exist. I don't know about you. So it's extremely powerful. It's non-physical. And it has to be the kind of thing, ultimately, you have to get down to something that is uncaused, right? Ultimately, you have to get down to something that by its very nature can't not exist, right? And if it can't not exist, that means it's always been around. It's always going to be around. It's eternal. And all of that gets us very close to what many people would consider God to be, right? This eternal, uncaused, non-physical being beyond space and time that's not made of matter, that's extremely powerful, and that causes the universe to exist, right? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I like that perspective. That kind of, it makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
Like everything has a reason behind that, but then I don't know how to put it in
What's
words.
the universe's reason, right? What's the universe's explanation,
like,
right?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Obviously, the cause of the universe that exists prior to the universe, right?
Yeah, so
exists prior to space, prior to time, prior to matter, so it can't be made of matter, right? Must be beyond space and time.
Yeah.
So it's a non-physical cause, extremely powerful cause. Those are some amazing things to realize, right?
Yeah.
And that is true regardless of how you make sense of the way things look really finely tuned, right? This is a separate argument from, fine-tuning arguments or design arguments like what you were talking about. Those can be good arguments too. But regardless of what kind of universe exists, whether it was a fine-tuned one or not, we would still ask the question, why does it exist at all, right?
Yeah.
Rather than nothing,
Just let it be, yeah.
Yeah. I'm curious, is there any part of that that you disagree with personally, or that you're like, I'm not so sure about this, or this part's unclear, or what's your reaction?
I think I agree with you on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. What would you say you lean maybe more towards religion explaining the world more so than just science explaining the world now, or what do you think?
Yeah, I'd say I'm a little more leaned into it now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so turn the dial a little bit. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool, man.
There's had to be something before all of that.
Yeah.
They can't just, pop up.
Yep. Yeah.
By something.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely an explanation for all this, for all this existing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool, man. The problem that you raise of suffering in the world, it's probably the strongest argument that's ever been given against the existence of God, right?
Yeah.